Hi everyone. I didn't think that I was gonna make this video, but I decided to because I feel like it is a good background of why I'm doing what I'm doing and what's happened in the last 2 months and just getting a little bit more personal, I guess. So I just want to say that I'm not like a professional at this. I'm just trying to help other people who are going through what I'm going through or just want to lose weight or just want a new diet change, whatever the case. So last year, I was diagnosed with PCOS. Um, And it was hard for me because my diet had consisted of basically being a vegetarian, which consists of basically no meat. Um, I tried to cut out dairy, but it was hard. Um, so after I had been diagnosed with that, I had changed my diet. I'd done really good. I had lost about 35 pounds, and I just started to go into this deep depression. Doing keto diet was hard. It was hard. I don't like a lot of meat. I just had to change everything about what I had ate, and it was just hard. Let's just say that. It was just hard for me. So I've been married almost 2 years this month, and my husband and I had been trying to conceive for quite some time. And I'd been told by my doctor that going keto and losing weight could help me in that process because PCOS, for those of you who don't know, is polycystic ovarian syndrome. And it complicates in most women having children, conceiving, and I'm not a doctor, I don't know all the details, but just for me it was a lot harder. And going on keto was going to help me lose weight and hopefully control PCOS a little bit more. So back to what I was saying, my husband and I had been trying for 2 years to conceive, and my doctor at the time, I'd been seeing her for about 6 months. She had left the hospital. So in January, I started seeing a new doctor, and she asked me if I was ready to move to the next step because I'd lost weight, I was doing good, and we were ready to take the next step. And I didn't know what that was until she had told me, but basically what it was helping me to produce the period and ovulate because I don't get regular periods at all, and you have to have a period to ovulate. So she had put me on Provera to have the period, and then Clomid to have ovulation occur. The first time I didn't track my ovulation and nothing happened. So I saw her again, and I was a little bit more, I asked more questions. And asking more questions, I asked, what's the likelihood of this happening? Basically 20% of it happening. I just had low hopes. And the second time I took it in March, I did track my ovulation. I tracked it for about 25 days of my cycle, and she told me I was supposed to ovulate day 14, 15, but according to the ovulation sticks, I never did. So I'd gotten really upset. I just kind of got really depressed, and I was gonna give up, and after that, my birthday was the following week. And I made an appointment, and because of the thing going around the world with you're not supposed to say it, but the pandemic, it was really hard to get in to see my doctor. So they were allowing me to make an appointment 90 days from when I'd called. I called April 1st. and so I couldn't see my doctor until July 1st. Well, a couple weeks later, and I was doing keto, and thought nothing of it, but one day I was at work, and I just wasn't feeling all that great. I had noticed some changes in my body that I'd never felt before, and so I go home and I decided to take pregnancy tests. I didn't think it was possible because I had stopped taking ovulation track. I stopped doing my ovulation tracker on day like 28, 25 or 28. And so once I took the pregnancy test, it was positive. And I was really happy. I cried and cried and cried. And I told my husband, we were just really excited. Well, I did ovulate. I ovulated later in my cycle than I thought. But after doing research and asking my doctor, it is possible to ovulate later when you don't get regular periods. Because it's harder to track. You don't know when you're going to get your next period or anything like that. So, the next step was to make an appointment. I was a little skeptical as how far along I was because, like I said, I did track it. And according to that, I didn't ovulate. But I had a feeling we conceived around my birthday. Not that you guys need to know that. So going from there, I made an appointment when I had seen my doctor. She told me that I wasn't that far along, maybe 5-6 weeks, and you couldn't hear the heartbeat. It was just a pregnancy sac. So I went home just, waiting to see my doctor in the next week, where she was gonna hopefully see the heartbeat. And 2 days before I was supposed to see my doctor, on Monday, May 11th, I was at work, and I noticed that I was bleeding. Well, I immediately left work, and I called my husband to take me to the urgent care. After waiting an hour, I was so scared. You don't know what's going to happen. We had been trying for so long, and I was just so happy to be pregnant. And we go to urgent care, and I end up waiting and just thinking all the worst things. I always think the worst. And I see the doctor, and he tells me that I could just, after 5 hours and doing all these testings, I find out that it's possible I'm just not that far along, and that's why they couldn't hear a heartbeat. And he told me that it also could be that it's not a viable pregnancy. And my heart sank. I thought, what did I do, and I was just blaming myself. So I went home and just kind of rested. I decided to take the next day off on May 12th. I took May 12th off of work. And the doctor told me just to rest. So that's what I did. I rested at about 10:30. I had noticed a little bit of bleeding, but I was just hopeful that it was just something normal because I wasn't that far along. And at one point I went to use the bathroom, and I came back to just sit in bed. I was going to read a book. And I noticed a lot of blood came out. And I rushed to the bathroom, and that is where I met my child. I can't put into words how traumatic it was. Every day of my life I feel guilty, like I've done something. You just kind of want answers as to why this happened, but you're never going to get any. It just happens. I held my child, and obviously I was a mess. I didn't know what to expect, what to do, or how to deal with what just happened. And I remember just crying uncontrollably. So my husband took me to the emergency room, and that was a mess. I ended up waiting for an hour at the first emergency room, and I was sitting in the waiting room covered in blood and crying, and they weren't very, very helpful there. So I actually had to walk out to the car where my husband had been waiting. Because of everything going on, he couldn't come in. So I had him take me to a different hospital. And they were really nice. They let him sit there with me, and just in the waiting room, which was fine. I needed that. And it was hard, It was hard. It still is every day. But I'm doing my best to heal. Now, I'm not making this video to be sad or anything like that, but I want women to know that they're not alone in this process or in this situation. When something like this happens to you, you don't know how to heal necessarily, or who to talk to, or anything. You just don't know. You just want to shut the whole world out. At least for me, I did. I had to find a place to put all the baby things that I'd bought. I didn't buy that much, but just buying that one onesie that you were going to announce to everyone we're pregnant, or I saved all 17 pregnancy tests because I didn't believe it. I'd taken so many pregnancy tests. It's gonna take time to heal. And right now what's distracting me is being on keto the best I can. Not every day is easy for me, but I know I have to do this to be healthy and for our future kids to live a long life for them. May 12th is a very important day to me. It's the day I lost our baby. That I got to meet them. And we named him Brennan Michael. And I want something good to come from that. I want to remember that day as something positive. Because I don't want to look at that day and be sad all the time. It sucks. It does. But I have to keep going. I have to continue on my keto journey. And I will do I'm not, like I said, I'm not a professional. I will just continue to help people make quick, easy recipes for keto. So I will just continue to do what I've been doing. And I hope that this doesn't make people sad. I don't want it to be sad. It was just explaining where I had been, why I had started keto, and everything's gonna be okay. Maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week. Things take time, whether it's a diet, a loss, anything. And I want everyone to stay positive if you're struggling in this journey, and we will get through it together. Thank you guys for your love and support. Please subscribe to my channel. I promise I will start uploading more, and you won't regret it. I hope everyone has a safe day and a safe weekend, and see you guys soon. Thank you.